There's a special kind of misery that comes with sciatica, and if you've been stretching it, resting it, and swallowing pills for it, and the thing keeps roaring back anyway, it's because you've been chasing the pain instead of going after what's actually causing it. So let me tell you what almost nobody explains. Sciatica isn't really a condition on its own, it's a symptom. It's your body's alarm bell telling you that the biggest nerve you've got is being squeezed somewhere. That nerve, the sciatic nerve, is the longest and the thickest nerve in your entire body, about as wide as your thumb where it leaves your spine, and it runs from your low back all the way down into your foot. When something presses on it or irritates it, the whole length of that leg lights up. And here's the part that changes everything once you understand it. The spot where you feel the pain is almost never the spot where the problem lives. Think about that. You feel it screaming down your hamstring and your calf, so that's where you stretch, that's where you rub, that's where you point when the doctor asks. But the nerve is getting pinched way up at the top in one of two places. Either a disc in your low back is bulging back and pressing on the nerve root where it exits the spine, or a deep muscle in your backside called the piriformis has gotten tight and is clamping down on the nerve as it passes underneath. That's the fire. Everything you feel down the leg is just the smoke. And that's exactly why the usual stuff fails you. Painkillers just turn the alarm off for a few hours, while the real problem keeps right on going. Random stretching off the internet often grabs an already angry, inflamed nerve and yanks on it, which can leave it more irritated than before. And just resting and waiting? That lets the muscles that are supposed to protect your spine get weak, so the next time you bend down to tie your shoe, you're right back where you started. Here's why isometric holds are different, and why I'd bet on them over anything else for this. An isometric is when you hold a position under tension without moving. No bouncing, no yanking on a nerve that's already mad at you. Instead, you build strength and stability in the exact muscles that surround and protect that nerve, so it finally gets the space it needs and gets left alone. It calms things down and it builds the support that keeps the pain from coming back. 5 holds, about 15 minutes, no equipment at all. But before we start, one quick and important thing. If you ever have numbness in the saddle area between your legs, if you lose control of your bladder or bowels, or if a leg suddenly goes weak and won't hold your weight, stop right now and see a doctor today. That's a small but serious group of cases that need real medical attention. For everybody else, the aches, the tightness, the pain that flares up and settles down, these 5 holds are exactly what you've been missing. The first one looks simple and almost everybody does it wrong. It's the tension plank, and the key word is tension, not time. Forget grinding out a sagging 2-minute plank while you watch the clock. We want 10 to 20 seconds of the hardest full body squeeze you can create, because a braced core acts like a built-in brace for your spine. When all those muscles fire at once, they take the pressure and the grinding force off the discs and off the nerve roots where your sciatica starts. Get on your forearms with your elbows directly under your shoulders. Now squeeze your glutes as hard as you possibly can. Brace your stomach like you're about to take a punch. Tuck your tailbone under slightly so your low back flattens out instead of dipping. Then imagine pulling your elbows down toward your toes without actually sliding them. Everything locks up tight. Hold that for 10 to 20 seconds, taking short, shallow breaths behind the brace. And do 2 or 3 rounds. You should feel your stomach and glutes shaking almost right away, and that shaking is the whole point. If you can hold it calm and relaxed for a full minute, you're not bracing hard enough. The most common mistake is letting your hips sag toward the floor, which dumps all the load right back onto the low back you're trying to protect. If a full plank is too much, drop to your knees or put your forearms up on a kitchen counter and create the exact same tension from there. The second hold goes after a muscle most people have never trained on purpose, and it's a quiet troublemaker in a lot of sciatica. It's the side-lying clamshell hold, and it builds the muscle on the side of your hip that keeps your pelvis level when you walk. When that muscle is weak, your pelvis dips with every single step, and that constant little tug irritates the nerve all day long. Worse, your deep hip muscles, including that piriformis we talked about, start overworking to pick up the slack, and that's how the piriformis gets tight and clamps down on the nerve in the first place. Lie on your side with your knees bent to about 45 degrees and your heels stacked together. Keeping your feet touching, open your top knee up to about shoulder width and then stop and hold it there. Do not let your top hip roll backward because that's the cheat almost everyone falls into. Keep your hips stacked straight up and down so the work stays in the side of your glute. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, switch sides, and do 2 rounds each. You'll feel a deep burn high on the side of your hip, and you should not feel this in your low back at all. If you do, you've rolled backward. Once it gets easy, loop a light resistance band just above your knees or press your top knee out into a wall and hold against it. Now, before I show you the third hold, let me stop for just a second because this matters. If you're dealing with constant aches, stiff joints, and a body that just doesn't cooperate the way it used to, I want you to hear this. You are not stuck with it. Most people assume this is simply how it feels to get older, and that's flat out not true. That's the whole reason I put together Reboot Your Body. It's a 30-day step-by-step program that rebuilds your mobility and your strength one piece at a time so you can move through your day without that constant aching, get up off the floor and play with your kids or your grandkids without bracing for it, and actually trust your own body again. Imagine going a whole day without that nerve reminding you it's there. If you want it, the link is right in the description below. All right, back to it because this next hold might be the single most important one for sciatica. The third hold is the Sphinx hold, and this is the one that can actually pull the pain back up and out of your leg. Remember, most sciatica comes from a disc in your low back pressing on the nerve. A gentle, sustained backward arch can coax that disc pressure forward and off the nerve. There's even a name for what you're hoping to see. It's called centralization. When your pain starts pulling back up your leg toward your spine, even if it feels a little stronger in your back for a moment, that is a very good sign. It means the nerve is getting unloaded. Lie face down on the floor and prop yourself up onto your forearms, elbows under your shoulders, like a Sphinx statue. Now here's the secret. Let your low back completely sag and let your glutes and your legs go totally limp. No clenching, no holding yourself up with your back. Just let gravity drape you over your hips. Breathe slow and hold for 30 to 60 seconds, then come down and repeat it a few times. As you hold, keep paying attention to your leg. The pain should ease or pull upward. But listen close because this is the one rule you cannot break. If the pain in your leg gets worse or it starts traveling further down toward your foot, this is not your hold. Stop and skip it. That tells you your back doesn't like being arched, and forcing it would only make things worse. If propping all the way up is too much at first, just lie flat on your stomach for a minute, then build up to your elbows over a few days. The fourth hold fixes the daily habit that keeps you trapped in this whole cycle, and most people have never trained it once in their lives. It's the isometric hip hinge hold. Here's the problem it solves. People with sciatica bend from their low back all day long. Every time they pick something up off the floor, every time they lean over the sink. That repeated bending grinds the disc and pokes the nerve over and over and over. The fix is to teach your body to bend from your hips instead, so your back gets to stay quiet and out of it. Holding the bottom of a hinge burns that pattern into your nervous system and builds the glute and hamstring endurance that protects your spine the rest of the day. Grab a broomstick and hold it upright against your back so it touches 3 points: the back of your head, the middle of your back, and your tailbone. Soften your knees and push your hips straight back behind you as you lower your chest toward the floor, going down to about a 45-degree angle. The entire time, those 3 points of contact have to stay glued to the stick. That's your proof your spine stayed in a safe, neutral position. Hold that bottom position for 20 to 40 seconds and do 2 or 3 rounds. You'll feel your hamstrings and glutes loading up and working hard while your back stays calm and quiet. And this is the hold that keeps paying you back all day, because once your body learns to hinge from the hips, every time you load the dishwasher or lift a bag of groceries, your glutes do the job instead of your spine. The 2 mistakes to watch for are rounding your low back, which is when the stick lifts off your tailbone, and turning it into a squat by bending your knees too much. If your balance is shaky, rest your fingertips on a counter and just go as deep as you can control. The fifth hold is the one almost nobody has seen, and it goes straight after the muscle most likely to be strangling your nerve. It's the figure 4 piriformis press. And the trick is that you don't just stretch, you contract first. Your piriformis sits deep in your backside with the sciatic nerve running right underneath it, and in some people straight through it. When it's tight, a plain old stretch often isn't enough to make it let go. But if you contract the muscle hard and then relax it, it releases far deeper. This is an old trick, and it works almost every single time. Lie on your back and cross your right ankle over your left thigh, just above the knee so your legs make a figure 4 shape. Reach your hands behind your left thigh and gently draw that leg toward your chest until you feel a mild stretch deep in your right backside. Now here's the part that makes it special. Instead of just holding the stretch, press your right knee outward against your own hand or push your crossed leg away from you at about a third of your full strength. Hold that press for 5 to 7 seconds, then completely relax and let everything melt a little deeper. Repeat that press and relax 3 or 4 times on each side, about 30 to 40 seconds total per leg. You'll feel it deep in the back of the hip, and most people feel a real loosening after each press. One warning, and it's important, this should always feel like a stretch, never a sharp electric shock. If pressing makes the pain shoot down your leg, ease way off. And if getting down on the floor is hard, you can do the whole thing sitting in a chair, ankle crossed over the opposite knee, leaning gently forward. All right, now let me show you how to put these 5 together into a routine that takes about 15 minutes and actually settles this thing down. Start with a Sphinx hold because it calms the nerve down first. 2 or 3 rounds of 30 to 60 seconds. Then move to the figure 4 press, 3 or 4 press and relax cycles on each side to take the squeeze off the nerve from below. Now that the nerve is quieter, go to the strengthening. Tension plank, 2 or 3 rounds of 10 to 20 hard seconds. Then the clamshell hold, 2 rounds of 20 to 30 seconds per side. And finish with the isometric hip hinge hold, 2 or 3 rounds of 20 to 40 seconds to lock in the movement pattern that keeps your back out of trouble for good. The 2 nerve calming holds, the Sphinx and the figure 4, you can do every single day, even twice a day when it's bad. The 3 strengthening holds, the plank, the clamshell, and the hinge, 3 or 4 days a week is plenty. Stay consistent with this, and most people feel that pain start to pull up and out of the leg within a week or 2. It retreats from the calf to the hamstring, from the hamstring up toward the hip, and then it quiets down. That's the nerve finally getting its space back. Movement is the medicine here, not another pill and not another month of waiting and hoping it fixes itself. Your body is built to heal this when you give it the right input day after day. So don't save this for later and forget about it. Get down on the floor and do 1 round of the Sphinx hold right now, today, and feel the difference a single round makes. And if you want the full step-by-step plan that builds on these holds and rebuilds your whole body over 30 days, that's exactly what Reboot Your Body was made for, and the link's waiting for you below. Otherwise, subscribe and stick around because the next one is going to help you just as much.